live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, we're gonna move on to Who's Really Right. This one, well, no, I won't. I'll say what the Who's Really Right is, because I have a hard time.
You'll be going on about.
So I'll say the Who's Really Right, and then I'll go back and kind of frame it a little bit. So the Who's Really Right is there enough being said, or is there enough awareness being brought to this Asian hate and these Asian hate crimes within the world of sports? And so to kind of go back and frame this, we saw a lot of outspokenness, if that's a word, during
it is now.
with what happened to George Floyd when that happened. And then, we saw the protests for Ahmaud Arbery. We saw the protests for Breonna Taylor. And we saw like kind of a unified front, where people just came forward and said, yo, like, this is wrong. We need to speak about it. We need to speak about this, and something needs to be done. Well, what it looks like is that not the same energy is being put into these Asian hate crimes or these Asian American hate crimes. And so this Who's Really Right is there enough awareness being brought? Was there enough support in the sports world for these Asian hate crimes?
So I was kind of upset. That's why I brought this up. Because although I have read more, and there have been more people who have spoken out, I think you hit it when you said, but it hasn't been the magnitude of support around this. So my answer is no. I don't think it's been brought enough awareness. It shouldn't just be, people like Dwayne, the people we know who are just Steph Curry, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Arthur Blank came out. Of course he would. Right. The Seattle Mariners, I think the 49ers, it's been sprinkled, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Versus the unified front, like you said, that was brought for the social injustices we had seen up until now, for African Americans. And so for Asian Americans, it shouldn't be that the only people that are speaking out are the top people, or Jeremy Lin and Koo, because they happen to be of Asian descent. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're missing the mark on this, because right is right and wrong is wrong.
Right.
That's just how I see it. Like, right is right and wrong is wrong. And the things that are being done, it angers me, because it was gaslighted by our former president, and people have run with this. And I know Asian hate crimes were happening prior to this, but it has escalated to like 3,000% or some crazy number like that. And so I just feel like we're all, especially, I'm gonna just say it from the standpoint of we're all people of color. Regardless, we're all people, but the people of color need to stand with the people of color, if nothing else.
Right.
That's just how I see it. So I don't think enough is being done. Just because you only got one or two people who were of Asian descent that played in the NBA and one in the NFL doesn't mean that the NBA and the NFL shouldn't stand up just like they did for Black Lives. That's just how I see it.
I think that's great points. I don't think it's never enough in these situations. It's hard to kind of speak on because you just never know, like, the root of the problem. You got to figure out the root of the problem to solve any situations. I just think it was never enough said when it comes to Breonna Taylor, when it came to George Floyd, when it came to all the senseless acts that occurred.
Right.
But like it goes back to what you're saying. It's like, like hurt is hurt. And we're all human beings, and don't matter your color, your age, don't matter your religion, your race. When someone is fighting for something they believe in, just something simple as democracy, it's tough. But I definitely think there's never enough that's said or done to fix the issues that goes on in society. You got to keep striving and trying to get it done, get it accomplished. But the main thing, like you said, we able to work together based on the actual cause and not just based on the color of our skin. Then maybe we can get towards that goal as far as making things happen.
Right. Yeah.
But
because it's hate, and it's hate against people of color, regardless.
Yeah, it is. It is. And like you said, the Black Lives Matter probably, those sports, the NBA, because we're so heavily populated with African Americans, so they felt an obligation to be involved, to speak upon this. I don't know if it really came from the heart, if it really was genuine.
Yeah.
But it's only a point where we had a sport where it's full of Asians, with a lot of sponsorship, and in fact the bottom line, then you'll get folks. Anything that we all know, anything to do with politics,
anything that affects the bottom line.
Absolutely.
That's when they speak.
That's sad. Right. That's sad.
Well, so I don't know. I think my take on this is that, and Steph, when you and I spoke about this the other day, I wanted to make sure I chose my words carefully because I didn't want to make it seem like what was happening was okay, which is obviously we know that that's not my stance or anything like that.
That is not your stance, right?
My position on what I see comes from me looking at the context of all that has happened, right? So when thinking about last summer was an anomaly. In the midst of a pandemic, we see a video of a police officer kneeling on George Floyd's neck. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the catalyst to spark all of this. And you remember I said we went back and we didn't, at that point, a lot of us didn't know about Breonna Taylor or Ahmaud Arbery, and all of those, they kind of got mushed in there together. Yeah. And because of the pandemic, everybody had to sit and watch and see this.
Right.
I think before this, and I won't go as far as to say that, things didn't happen on a mass scale, because we saw Mike Brown and what happened with Mike Brown and what happened in Ferguson, and we saw his name jumped out my head again. Well, definitely Trayvon Martin, but
Eric Garner.
Eric Garner, and we saw like the protests and stuff like that, but nothing was on the scale of what happened last summer. And I think that the context of that is that we were all sitting still. We were in a pandemic. When you see sports players who were in a bubble and they're all together receiving all of this information, and they're in the bubble and they have cameras in their face, and that's why you see so much outspokenness during that time. I think now that pretty much everybody has gone back to normal,
whatever
some of these stories, whatever normal is, some of these stories we aren't even seeing. Because you remember when you told me the story about how 21 days in a row there have been mass shootings, I had no idea about that.
And that was Monday or Tuesday. And so we've seen it continue.
So we at 23, 24 days straight?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I don't think it's so much as people don't care or people are being choosy. I think that the context of last summer doesn't apply to right now. Now that isn't to say that because people have spoken up and people have said some things, but maybe seeing like the full scale protests where people are like people are out in the street because they're not working because of the pandemic. I think that's the reason why we haven't seen that. But I don't think anyone is intentionally ignoring this or saying to themselves, well, that's not my people, I'm not worried about it. I honestly think that it's contextual, you know.
Okay. That's fair.
And so, you know, we were having trouble with, you know, trying to word this to make this who's really right. So when we say, is there enough being said / done? I got to go with what you said, Coach Flea. It's never going to be enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's because saying it's enough means that there is something that's done in that time span that changes it. Yeah. And we continue to see it happen. And not just in the Asian American community or the African American community, but in the Latino American community and all these other communities that are considered minorities in this country. And I won't just say that. I would say even in, you know, some of the Caucasian American communities, you know, where you see certain things. And I think that's a whole different story about why that doesn't get.
We would need a whole new Who's Really Right.
That'll be a whole new one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I don't think it's like it'll never be enough until we start to see either a decline or stuff just stop happening with hate, which is idealistic at best. It'll never be enough.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, no, I see it. I do. I guess more to the point. Then let me just say this: I don't think that the bigger entities, not people individually, but the bigger entities are doing enough. They're not doing enough.
That's fair.
Let me just say that.
I can agree with that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I kept myself out of our water step.
Yeah, you did. You did. No,
I was over there walking on eggshells.
You did very well, sir. Because I was like, oh, you want to do that? Oh, okay.
Look, when we get into you know what? I'm not even gonna bring that up. But the conversation that we're saving for next week, that's gonna be I might get some hate emails. All right, hey, but you guys let us know who's really right, even though, you know, I guess this wasn't one of your traditional who's really rights.
It'll just be which side do you see it? Like, it's not even about, we both say no, and like you said, never enough. And I'm like, no, it's not enough. So it's more of, is it that they need to be doing more or not?
Right. Let us know how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? About the attention and the awareness. Let us just you know, let us know what you think about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.